I talk, you listen, or you turn the channel. Either way, I'm still gonna talk. Welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. I gotta tell you, we had a great weekend this past weekend. Music Fest was fantastic. A long day, but 7 great bands played. I believe only one of the bands at Railroad Square was actually from Keene. We had a band from, I believe, Philadelphia. One of the bands was from Plymouth, Massachusetts. And I gotta tell you, for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, my legs were killing me from running handheld camera. Of course, I did that all day because I like working the handheld camera. I'm one of those up close and personal guys, and I'm not shy about getting right up and sticking the camera right in somebody's face. It doesn't bother some of them, but you can tell the guys that are not used to having the cameras. And it's funny. You get up and you stick a camera in their face or right up against the guitar, you know, and they get a little edgy. But all in all, a great day. Beautiful turnout. And I've got to say, thanks to all the people that were involved in putting on the musicians buffet that was put on at EF Lane Hotel. So it went real well, and it was nice for the entire crew to get fed. And I guess they ran it between 12 and 2 and, 12 and 4 and 6 and 9 or something. So, and what a spread they put on. Fantastic. What else is going on this week? Driving around Keene is horrible still. All the detours that we've got around Court Street are now being worked on. So if you take a detour to go around Court Street, you run into construction on your detour route. So I don't know what to say. Just bear with it. Winter's quickly approaching, and then all the road construction will stop. Things will go back to normal until next spring. What's going on? Apparently the biggest news, the Republicans are in St. Paul, Minneapolis.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minneapolis, the Twin Cities.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Rob, thanks, Rob. Oh, you're getting way better at your geography now, huh?
Yeah.
Was that the lesson for today? Where's St. Paul?
No.
All right, just checking. But it's nice that you know what state St. Paul's in.
Some people don't.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people can't find Iraq and Iran on a map. So, I mean, it's a sad thing. Last week was the whole Democratic convention, and it was funny that John McCain timed the announcement of his running mate to coincide with Barack Obama's speech at the DNC on last Friday. Well, turnabout apparently is fair play because Barack Obama has scheduled an interview with Bill O'Reilly on the O'Reilly Factor, or whatever the TV show is there, the O'Reilly Show, for Thursday night, just before McCain's speech. So, I mean, I'm getting real tired of the whole political scene, and I'm not gonna, I'm not a segregationist. I'm not gonna separate these two. I'm getting to hate Republicans and Democrats, both, because I'm tired of hearing about the vice presidential candidate's knocked up daughter. I'm tired of hearing about Barack Obama's wife I'm tired about hearing about, the priest of the church that these guys go to. I'm tired of hearing about, John McCain spending time in a POW camp 40 years ago. I'm tired of hearing about all that. What I want to hear from candidates is solutions. Don't, Barack Obama is spending millions of dollars on these campaign ads that do nothing but show John McCain and George Bush hugging each other and eating ice cream together. Meanwhile, the theme from Courtship of Eddie's Father is playing in the background, There's all this sappy, together again kind of stuff. I don't care about that. Barack, spend your money telling us what you're going to do to fix this damn mess we're in. And John McCain, the same thing. Don't keep telling us that Barack Obama's no good because he's black and he's got no experience. You just picked up a vice presidential candidate with 4 months of experience. That's no experience. Sure, she lives next door to Russia, but if I lived next door to a slaughterhouse, that wouldn't make me an expert on slaughtering animals. It just means that I didn't pick a very good place to live. Alaska, all in all, it can't be hard to govern, 50,000 Eskimos who have been living there long before our government even started. Can't be hard to govern them. They govern themselves. And as far as polar bears and walruses and seals, well, if you can teach a seal to blow a horn, I'm pretty sure you can teach a seal to vote. I'm just saying. But I'm tired of hearing all the personal stuff. We don't care. I don't care if, the thing that is upsetting is that Sarah Palin, McCain's vice presidential pick, is her political views and her personal lifestyle don't match up, which is troubling. It's kind of like Nixon. I'm not a crook, I'm an embezzler. There's a big difference. But it was, you don't say you believe in these things and then go home and shut your front door and believe in a completely different set of things. That's not the way our government should work. What we want is people in government that speak the truth. Yeah, and if Sarah Palin comes out and, if she says, I smoke pot and have half a bottle of Jack Daniels every night, cool. But is she gonna do things that are beneficial to the United States? I don't care what she does when she leaves the job or when she goes on vacation. If she feels like going to Vegas and, raising hell at a Chippendales concert, I don't care. What I care about is if she's going to figure out how to get us out of Iraq, if she's going to, push for alternative energies, wind power and solar power, if she's going to try and take away some of these subsidies from the oil companies. That's what politicians need to do. The way I was thinking on the way down here, that government really should only be concerned with infrastructure. Roads, communication lines, emergency services. That's it. Wasting all your time figuring out laws of how to control people, it doesn't work. Because, to be honest, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do anyway. I've got free thought. And just because something's against the law doesn't mean that people aren't going to do it. Which is why there's an old saying, you pick your battles. And our politicians don't seem to pick the right battles. They pick all the easy stuff. How can we get pot smokers off the street? Easy, lock them up. So that's what they do. They lock them up. That's not getting, bringing an end to the drug problem. The drug problem isn't with pot smokers. The drug problem is with cocaine hounds and crack fiends and heroin addicts. That's the drug problem. These designer drugs, these people that are stealing horse tranquilizers and cat tranquilizers from veterinary offices and turning them into drugs and selling them to kids. And it's totally safe. They give it to cats. What could be wrong with it? It's made for cats. How could it harm a human? Well, it does. All right. Well, I see the old clock on the wall is time. And this will be easy. Only we just got to get Rob to stand in the right place tonight. Because unfortunately, Greg's daughter is sick, not feeling well, so Greg stayed home to nurse her back. On camera 1 and every other camera we got in here is Rob. Back. Apparently, no, they're not killing him too bad at football practice because he can still raise his arms higher than John McCain.
I'm dead, to be honest with you.
All right. And in the booth, Bruce and Andrea.
How you doing out there tonight, Rick?
All right. For having nothing prepared.
For just winging it, we're having a good time. Started a little early tonight. Nick came in and he says, I didn't realize you started already. He was going to have us go ahead and download straight to the computer.
Oh, yeah. Now, see, Lee told me we weren't going to do that this week.
That's all right.
So,
Next time.
All right.
We can do that. But, boy, the weather's been beautiful here this week. It's been gorgeous.
Yes.
I got a new toy last Friday. You've seen it. Motorcycle.
Bought yourself a motorcycle.
So I've been out playing on that and getting the wind in my face and having a good time.
Now, let's not give the people the wrong idea here. You didn't, buy a brand new, sparkly, sink yourself into debt motorcycle.
No, it wasn't a sink yourself into debt motorcycle. It was $500 cash. Thank you. It's my bike now.
Yep.
So
and it works just fine from what I've seen.
It's a blast. I'm having a good time.
Yep.
But now Andrea's got a widow. She's a widow sitting at home because I'm out playing on the motorcycle instead of spending time with her. But it's all right. I got permission. So
Right, but at least with you on your motorcycle, she gets to watch the TV. Whereas if you weren't on the motorcycle, you'd be playing your video games.
Yeah, I'd play in the video games, or I'd have the controller, so I'd choosing all the TV programming. But
Yeah.
how that goes. It's the guy's toy. But here's Andrea. Let you know what happened this week in NASCAR.
All right.
Yeah, and the only reason I can't get on that motorcycle is because it's got a skinny butt seat and not a wide butt seat. And let me tell you what, I'm not any twiggy, but that's okay. I'm fine the way I am for right now. Anyhow, there's not a whole lot going on right now in NASCAR because we are down to the final race this weekend at Richmond. And so we will find out at the end of this weekend just what happens as far as who's in the chase and who isn't. But last week it was a little bit boring. It was a little bit boring. I started falling asleep, got up the next morning and watched the rest of it because we have the DVR. That's how bad it was. But we did have a whole new lineup at the first 5 because Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards ended up finishing a little bit further down the line. But actually, Jimmy Johnson took the win this week. Greg Biffle finished second. That was a really excellent finish for him. Your guy, Denny Hamlin, took third.
2 in a row.
Yeah, 2 in a row. He's actually really he's working hard. He wants in that chase bad.
Yeah, he does.
Kevin Harvick took 4th. Matt Kenseth took 5th. Clinton Boyer 10th. Dale Jr., he took 11th. My guy Truex 19th, and Tony Stewart 22nd. So, they were all over the place, but a lot of the other guys in the chase, they finished just scattered throughout the field. And which is why this week coming into the chase, there are actually only the first 5 guys locked in. And then Greg Biffle is in 6th place. All he has to do is just start the race. The other 6, they really are it's undetermined as to really where they're going to end up playing out, because we got two guys that are real close on their heels trying to get into the chase. So just depending on where these final 6 play out, that's where it's going to be. But I will give you the 12 that are in there right now. Right now, of course, locked in is Kyle Busch, and then there's Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., and Jeff Burton. Like I said, number 6 is Greg Biffle. Then we have Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, Denny Hamlin, and Clint Boyer. Right on their heels in number 13 and 14 is David Reagan and Casey Kane. So, and it's going to be a really good race. Now, we've got Hurricane Hannah that's fixing to try to hit the East Coast, so we don't know if we're going to get to watch a Saturday night race at Richmond or if it's going to get held over to Sunday, because they are projecting rain. So anything could happen this weekend, but hopefully they'll get the race in, and we'll find out before Monday who is who. Now, there's a couple other little things. Joey Logano, the little phenom that's coming on, 18 years old. They call him Sliced Bread. He's going to be in the 96 this weekend at Richmond. Now, he's a rookie. This is going to be his first time in one of the COT cars. I don't know about you, but I'd be a little bit nervous if I were those guys trying to get in the chase. Then Reed Sorensen is leaving Ganassi Racing, which he drives the Target 41, and he's going to be going to Gillette Evernham. And then David Stremme has been asked to drive the number 12 for Penske Racing. And Stremme, if y'all don't know, he drives the number 64 for Rusty Wallace in the Nationwide Series. So right now, that's about all that's going on, and we're just going to have to wait until after the weekend to see what plays out for who the final 12 are. But it is definitely coming right down to the wire. So anyways, that's it, and it's all back to you now, Rick.
Thank you, Andrea. I'm going to talk a couple seconds here while we get set up for Tarzan's little segment about some stupid people. In Michigan, it came out of the Kalamazoo Gazette. A 34-year-old man was killed when he was trying to repair what police are describing as a farm-type truck. I'm imagining it's one of these non-roadworthy, like a log truck or backwoods truck. But apparently there was something wrong with it, so this 34-year-old guy got a friend to drive the truck while he hung underneath it to see if he could figure out where the noise was coming from. And apparently his clothing got caught or something, and apparently the other guy found him wrapped in the drive shaft and dead. Yeah. So apparently if you hear a noise under the truck, take it to a mechanic. They've got lifts and stuff. They can lift it up and look underneath it. Don't hang underneath it and have somebody drive it. But it's kind of stupid. So one thing you don't do when you're driving, fixing your vehicles. Do one more, I guess. In Norristown, Pennsylvania, the attorney for a Mr. Howard Wingding Jones, who is apparently an accused drug dealer, his attorney was in court arguing to lower his client's bail from $150,000, insisting that Mr. Jones was not a risk to flee. But at that very moment, Mr. Jones bolted through the courtroom door and sprinted out of the courthouse. Police caught him 50 minutes later and returned him to the court, where his bail was raised. Yeah. I mean, you'd think that a client and a lawyer would talk, and the lawyer would go, look, I'm going to be telling them you're not a risk to flee. Don't get up and run out of the courtroom. Apparently not. Maybe the guy was just high. So I think we're all set up Let's take it down into the bunker and say hello to Tarzan.
Hey, Rick, how the hell are you tonight?
Tarzan, I didn't know you were musically inclined.
Oh, the hell, Rick. There's a lot of things I'd like to do that I don't do out in public. But, you know, I'd like to give my best to all the families that have loved ones in this holy war, Rick. Bring our troops home, Mr. Next President. Thank you very much. You know, Rick, this is the headline. Bound for Afghanistan. We've got troops headed out there to Afghanistan from New Hampshire. Since September 11th, 2001, 75% of our New Hampshire National Guard, Air Guard, are deployed overseas in support of Operation Iraq and Enduring Freedom. 16 soldiers will be leaving, will serve a year over there in Afghanistan. You know, I wish you and your families the best. They're over there to do some major freaking work, training, and I hope it all goes well. September 17th, 18th, and 19th, ladies and gentlemen, Manchester Regional Airport, the B-25, B-17, B-24, the P-51C Mustang, the sole remaining one in the world, will be there that weekend. If you need the phone number for ticket prices, it's 669-4820. You know, Rick, speaking of the soldiers that are headed out to Afghanistan, this week, Stop the Madness, Governor Lynch, and General Clark. You made a statement in the paper. You're going to be available for lawn work, grocery shopping, and babysitting. Stop. You both are out of line. We know you're not going to be there for grocery shopping, babysitting, or mowing the freaking lawn. And why you made a statement like that, just to be funny, well, you know, it might have cracked a couple of people up, might have lasted a couple of seconds. It doesn't work for me. Stop, both of you. You know, this week, Rick, happens to be Grumpy Old Man Week, because I was listening to Fred Parcells, and I'm not going to badmouth Fred Parcells. He even said that he's so old that last time he was a cop was 100 years ago. He wants to change the voting age to 21. He doesn't want anyone drinking liquor at 18. He has and any 18-year-olds to 20-year-olds have no sense or idea what politics are or what the presidential race is all about. I strongly disagree with you, Fred, and I think you should look at yourself in the mirror and maybe even get a freaking haircut. You really ticked me off with that one. You know, I don't know what the heck's going on there, Fred. You know, this week, Rick, I want to wish my two daughters a happy birthday, JoJo and Nikki. Happy birthday from your old man. God bless you. You know, Rick, Saturday AM radio on KBK 1290 is becoming the listen to of the weekend. It's become a vigil of people calling people Nazis, people calling people ugly, people calling people this and that. I'm just cracking up. And I don't know what to think anymore, but I'm telling you, everybody, you got to tune in from 9 to freaking 11. You're going to laugh your head off. You know what, Rick, I'm sorry. This week, Rick, two of my favorite personalities died. Jerry Reed in his 70s and Killer Kowalski, who's the man. In his 80s, Rick. And
Wow.
I can't say anything more than I hope to see you cats up there in heaven. You know, I don't know what's going to happen with Sarah Palin's son. He's headed out for Afghanistan. I don't know if anybody knew that or not. He's headed over there into this war and over Iraqistan. And if the Republicans take this nomination and she becomes a vice president, are they going to have to pull him out of combat, put him in a special unit, hide him in a cave, put him in the kitchen, make him become a cook? I really seriously doubt they're going to stick him in infantry. Like he's just applied for infantry. He's headed over there as a ground soldier, as a ground troop. I don't know what your opinion is, Rick. Do you think that this is something they're going to pull off, or?
Well, the British didn't let Prince Harry do it. You know, so I don't see.
Yeah.
I mean, of course,
I hear what you're saying.
nobody reported the fact that her son is going over there.
Yeah, he's headed over there.
All they're reporting is that her daughter's knocked up. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because, they'll report the negative. They won't report the positive.
Right.
Yeah, maybe her son should be running for vice president.
Right.
He sounds like he's got some intestinal fortitude and some
Sure.
pride in his country.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I see him probably having to pull him back out.
Yeah, a big time, you know. I got another Stop the Madness, Rick. I'm still hooked on Stop the Madness to these clerks, okay? Now, when old man Tarzan, that be me, hands you a 50, and you give me change for a freaking 10, and then you go, you sure that was a 50? And your boss is standing right there, and this happened to me twice with the same clerk at the same store that I complained vehemently, and they finally fired this clerk. I couldn't believe she was trying to rip me off like that. It was just blatant freaking stealing from me, and I was so relieved they canned that freaking lady. Another thing, Rick, Stop the Madness, another clerk there in Marlboro, she charges me $18 for stuff that cost me $11. And I called her on the carpet for it, and she made me look like a freaking dummy in front of her boss, in front of the customers behind me, when I actually happened to be right. Now, how am I know she's not trying to pocket old man Tarzan, that would be me, my change, my change, my money? Seriously, I don't get it. You're not going to steal from me, okay? I'm not the smartest cat in the world. I do know how to add and subtract. My division's a little weak, and it's not going to happen. You know, I can add 2 and 2, okay? Let's not go there anymore. Stop picking on old man Tarzan, because he can't take it. You can barely go out in public anymore to these stores, because it seems like I got a bullseye on my freaking forehead saying, sucker. Well, I'm not a sucker. I'm actually a freaking father, and I'm a nice guy. And anything else to add, Rick? Tarzan's out of here.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, I don't know. For one thing, the people that are working in these convenience stores and stuff these days are just, for one thing, nobody takes the time to train employees anymore. If you get a job in a small business, they don't take the time to train you. You learn as you go, and that's it. Probably because a lot of employers are tired of training people only to have them bail, to move on. Why waste 2 months training somebody when they're only going to be there a total of 3 months? And then they're going to leave. So I don't know. Let me read a couple more of these little stupid things, and then then we'll get into the music. A 45-year-old lady, Amy Brasher, was arrested in San Antonio, Texas, after she took her car to the garage for an oil change, and the mechanic called the police and reported that there were 18 packages of marijuana stashed in the engine compartment of her car. Yeah. According to the police, after the lady was arrested, she later confessed that she didn't realize that the mechanic would have to open the hood to change her oil. Yeah. See, even Andrea, even you know that you can open the hood to change the oil, right, Andrea? There's another one that's kind of funny. Back in February, a 14 and a 15-year-old boy were released from a Fort Lauderdale, Florida court after a hearing before Judge Larry Seidlin for stealing a car, which, according to the police, was the 25th car that these two boys had stolen within 2 years. So they were released. According to authorities, after they were released from court, the two boys went outside, realized they didn't have enough money for bus fare, stole number 26, and 45 minutes later crashed it into a fence. So I bet they weren't released a second time, I bet.
There's a lesson learned.
Yeah. I mean, 14 and 15-year-old kids stealing cars. Apparently,
What they learned is there's no repercussions from them breaking the law.
that's right. 20, number 26 after they left the court. Now, if a kid steals 26 cars in 2 years, you don't just slap him on the wrist or chalk it up to bad parenting. This kid maybe after 26 auto thefts maybe needs to do, I don't know, 25 years in jail or something. Or maybe, I don't know, I still like the military with, you don't spend long periods of time in jail, you spend short periods of time in jail on bread and water and hard labor. Yeah, nothing. You don't get a book in your cell, you don't even get the comfort of a Bible in your cell. If you're in jail, you're being punished.
Curiosity question.
All right?
If you're an adult and you steal a car, what do you get?
A car.
What kind? Oh, well, I mean, when they catch you, smarty. What kind of jail time do you get? Honestly.
I believe actually stealing a car
35 years.
is actually grand larceny, which is a Class A felony. I believe it's 5 to 7.
5 to 7 years for stealing a car?
I think so. I think that's what felony A theft is. I'm not sure. But or 3 to 5. Maybe it's 3 to 5.
Wow.
But I mean, either way, it's you go to jails. Do not pass go. Don't collect anything. But these days, jails are like cakewalks. It's like going to a friggin' day camp. Because people are getting out of jail and committing the same crimes.
It's a finishing school for criminals.
Exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Just someplace to go and learn new techniques and.
Or get your degree.
Or you can get your degree also. Yes.
Write a book.
That's
Make a
funny.
movie.
All right. As I mentioned, this past weekend we did Music Fest, but the clips are not ready yet. So we've got one more week of a professional band, and I picked this video for a reason that we'll talk about after the video. But this is another clip from back in the mid '80s. It's REO Speedwagon on the Mom's Tattoo musical interlude. The band is REO Speedwagon. The song is Roll with the Changes. And through all this political turmoil, that's the only thing we can do is roll with the changes. The band was formed in 1967 at the University of Illinois in Champaign, Illinois, by students that formed this band to play strictly cover songs in the campus bars. The name REO Speedwagon came from the REO Speedwagon, which was a flatbed truck manufactured by the REO Motor Company. And REO is the initials of the company's founder, Ransom Eli Olds, who also founded Oldsmobile, a division of General Motors. They went through a lot of talent changes over the years, but their main members were Kevin Cronin, Neil Doherty, Bruce Hall, Gary Richrath, and Alan Gratzer were the REO Speedwagon from my era. They were hard rock, soft rock. I don't know really what else you would call it. Maybe early. I mean, they were definitely progressive for the radio scene back then. They were doing stuff that nobody had done. Of course, they had a bunch of people in the band and a lot of members on stage at the same time. But the reason I wanted to show that video is the fact that they blended in the clips of past performances and what the band looked like, what the members of the band looked like probably 10 years back from when that video was made. One of their biggest hits was 157 Riverside Avenue, which I found out was, I didn't highlight it, but it was a song about the address where they stayed in, I believe it was Greenwich, Connecticut, when they were recording their first album. Westport, Connecticut, because they recorded in Bridgeport. They recorded their first album, REO Speedwagon, in 1971. And 157 Riverside Avenue was the Westport, Connecticut address where they stayed. Second album came out in 72. The first live album came out in 1977 and was certified platinum. That was Live, You Get What You Play For. In 1977, they also recorded You Could Tune a Piano, But You Can't Tune a Fish, which was one of their bigger albums. And that was released in 1978. And it received FM radio airplay, but it fell short of the top 40. In 1979, the band kind of flopped and decided they'd go a little bit harder rock, and they released 9 Lives. And then the early 1980, they released High Infidelity, which I always saw as the end of the band for me. They got a little bit too, I don't know if candy-ish would be the word, but it wasn't the same rock like they had been playing. It was more popped up, apparently, or something. But I believe they're still out. They continue to tour. They're regulars now on the fair and the casino circuits. So the smaller and the double and triple bills, things like that. Yes, they did play in Manchester, or they're playing in Manchester.
Yeah, with some other band too.
Coming up, and I've seen the ads on Channel 9. But all in all, a fantastic band. And for you young kids, dig up some of the old REO. Some of the stuff from the early 70s is fantastic music. They did a song, it's called One of the songs was called Golden Country that was a great rockin' tune. Another one they did way back then was, 157 Riverside Avenue. And Music Man was another big one that is just fantastic rockin', a lot of great guitar work, and Kevin Cronin was an amazing vocal talent. But anyway, that's the musical interlude. I had the other day at work, I got to work, it was Wednesday morning, and of course we air Wednesday mornings between 10 and 11. And I went to work at 11. One of the little college counter girls came in, and she said, I saw your show today. She says, you were hating on the college kids. I want to make this clear. I wasn't hating on the college kids. I mean, I don't mind the college kids. I just wish that they'd have a little bit of respect, and act like they're college kids. You're in college now. You're supposed to be on the edge of grown up. So act it. Life isn't, all about how many beers you can down in a setting or, how many consecutive games of beer pong you can win without falling over. Those aren't the important things in life. The important things in life is, community, and community doesn't always mean being drunk. I'm just saying, I'm not hating on the college kids. I just wish that, tone it down. Think the first thing on your mind should be education, not partying. And somebody actually told me they think the reason a lot of people choose Keene State is because it's a great party school. I mean, if that's the way you pick in colleges, you might as well don't go to college, spend the whatever you're spending on tuitions, have a big party. That's why I didn't go to college. I spent all my college money on booze and drugs when I was in high school. So that's what happened there. All right, I did that one, didn't I? Got another couple more little stupid things. This is about in Alexandria, Virginia. Apparently, a guy on a bicycle confronted 3 well-dressed men and pointed what looked like a 9mm automatic handgun at them and demanded their money. Stupid. Turns out these 3 well-dressed guys were actually federal officers, and they drew their weapons and fired more than 20 shots at the guy that was trying to rob him.
They probably only hit him once, right?
It doesn't say how many times they hit him,
Yeah. Yes.
but it says they hit the would-be robber as well as 3 cars, a truck, 2 homes, and an office building. And the suspect's weapon turned out to be a pellet gun.
That's excellent.
They're federal officers. These are people that our politicians hire. Yeah. Somebody points a water pistol at them and they open fire? Talk about excessive force. I don't know if these federal agents were charged or not, but probably not. Probably wasn't even an investigation. They said, did you discharge your weapons? Yes, we fired. And apparently somebody must have been holding out. Because 3 guys, 20 shots. 2 of them each fired 7 shots. 1 of them only fired 6. That was the guy that probably got fired. Go, what do you mean you didn't empty your gun?
You don't bring bullets back.
Exactly. Don't bring the bullets back unless they're in the suspect. Or the cars or the houses or, I don't know. There's one more funny one. Because this is... You couldn't have got me a better one, Bruce. Apparently a guy died in his bed, natural causes. And I don't know where this came from, but it says it was a terrible diet and a room with no ventilation. that caused the man to die. He was killed by his own gas. Yeah. There was no marks on the body. The autopsy showed large amounts of methane gas in his system. His diet primarily consists of beans and cabbage and a couple of other things. And they say it was just the right combination of foods, and it appears that the man died in his sleep from breathing the poisonous cloud that was hanging over his bed.
No.
Yeah. Had he been outside or had his windows been open, it wouldn't have been fatal. But the man was shut up in his airtight bedroom. He was a big man with a huge capacity for creating gas. And 3 of his rescuers actually got sick, and 1 was hospitalized. Well, I mean, they probably wouldn't have cracked the window if they just rushed into the scene. And then it was like that episode of Burn Notice where they pumped the nitrous gas into the room, and before you know it, it's too late. You've already breathed in way too much. But yeah. So I got to do this one too, because there's another. I mean, that guy died. It wasn't his fault. Well, not really. He couldn't help it, probably. But this guy, 47 years old, accidentally shot himself. Now get this, he wasn't cleaning his gun, he was sleeping. And it was in Newton, North Carolina. He was sleeping. He woke up to his phone ringing and reached for the phone, but picked up the revolver he kept on his nightstand, and it discharged when he stuck it up next to his head to answer it. Probably, you know, I don't know who was calling, but I hope it wasn't anybody important.
Sucks.
But, yeah. So let's see, I covered the political stuff. I covered, no, I didn't cover all the political stuff, because I just caught a very tiny bit of it while we were setting up for the show tonight, watching the TV monitor out in the office, and Democracy Now!, the TV show Democracy Now! Was showing. And they were talking about in St. Paul that reporters are being arrested and beaten and things like that. Like I said, I didn't get the whole story, but and they were showing, I mean, because apparently these reporters are trying to report on the violence surrounding the conventions, which there are protesters, there are small riots, and these news people are trying to show the police beating these rioters, and the news people are getting arrested. And this is the government, and it's the type of government that we don't want. Like I said, government should be for infrastructure. You know, they should make sure the roads are good, make sure that the phone lines all work, make sure, you know, the stuff that we had to fix in Iraq for the first year that we were there after we completely wiped out their infrastructure. We need to do that in the United States. Fix our power grids, fix our, you know, the basic things that keep the entire country moving. Personal stuff, leave to personal things. That's all I'm saying. Oh, I know what I wanted to mention. These cops that have been going around Keene. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I hope they have success to fill the jails. Because apparently the 2 cops in Keene are running around dressed like college kids and acting like college kids. And guess what? They'll just stroll into a college party without anybody even realizing they're there until a dozen people are hauled out. Yeah, it's all you college people. I mean, it's easy for cops to get into college parties because
Everybody's wasted.
Everybody's wasted, and all the doors are wide open, and people are not paying attention. Then again, not only can cops get into college parties, but these people aren't vigilant enough that terrorists could get in. You know? I wouldn't be so worried about the cops. Be worried about terrorists coming in and blowing up your fraternity house. You know? But no, I think it's great, and it's about time that Keene has finally, and I believe this is the first year that they've done it. Because I don't remember any other years hearing about, you know, the undercover college cops. But, you know, I hope they have success. I hope it does cut down on the trouble at the college, the binge drinking, and all of the crimes that are associated. I mean, maybe we won't have to, you know, spend 8 months this year reading stories in the Sentinel about how college girls have been date raped and people have been attacked on campus and stuff's been vandalized.
People bring it upon themselves when they do that kind of stuff when they go to parties.
Yeah.
Wasted.
So, I mean,
It should be their own fault if it happens.
something that happens these days that didn't happen when I was out partying a lot. People like drink at their friends' houses until 11 o'clock at night and then go to the bars when they're already drunk. Where I used to go to the bars at like 8 o'clock at night so that by 11 I could be in prime dancing mood for the last set of the band. And there were no lines outside bars then. All right, we've got less than a minute. I want to thank my crew. Thanks, Rob, and Bruce and Andrea. Thank Cheshire TV, Mom's Tattoo, and Gemini Screen Print. Up next on No Spin, they're going to be having a conversation about the middle school. Randy told me they had a few different guests scheduled. He wasn't sure which one or ones was going to show up. But the discussion will be about the middle school on No Spin. Tonight's credit clip is a little bit different. I was just playing around one day on the video games, and this is what I came up with. So till next week. Peace.